that's like saying all people who listen to hip hop are drug dealers, or all people who listen to soul are hippies. You can't judge an entire race or group or party by one thought. Like, I grew up in a Democratic household, but I can tell you that not all Democrats hate gays or whatever. And I can tell you that not all Democrats hate Republicans. It's just, I hate stereotypes like that. And I hate when people try to classify large groups by one thing that just so happens to be popular among that group of people. Like, yes, a lot of people in the world like fried chicken. Yes, a lot of black people like fried chicken. Not all black people like fried chicken, and I wish people would get that through their heads.
Well, Lana, when you see people thinking in terms of animosity toward these various groups, we've got about 2 minutes in this segment. When you see people thinking about the animosity toward various groups, to put it within the African-American context, and you think in terms of slavery, the Civil War, and then the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, are you contending, or are you saying that all of these groups, no matter what group they might, what religion they might belong to, have the same constitutional and civil rights, liberties? Is that what we're saying here?
Everybody deserves a chance at life. Everybody deserves a chance to be able to walk through TSA without being double-checked just because of the traditional dress that they're wearing. Everyone deserves a chance to be able to walk freely down the street without being called ISIS. Every black woman deserves the right to walk down the street without being called I don't know if I can say that on TV.
No,
but I'm not going to. And every white person deserves not to be able to be labeled as, every white Southern person deserves not to be able to be called KKK or say some stupid stereotype like they date their cousins or something. Because, I mean, sure, that may have happened in the South, but you can't classify a whole group of people by that one thing. And that's my biggest issue. And I wish that there were more groups that were fighting for the rights of the minorities that people kind of sweep under the rug. Like, for instance, for black people, they have the NAACP, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And they fight for our rights, but how many groups do you see? And there are plenty of black rights groups like the Black Panthers and the NAACP, et cetera, et cetera. But how many Islamic groups do you see that fight for the rights of Islam?
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll take this second commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.
Impact tariffs. In my own world. Like I told you about the airport incident. It's crazy. We were all going through, I was coming back from D.C. because I was with the Junior National Young Leaders Conference.
Okay, well, let's see. We say that all groups deserve civil rights, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments.
That's the right to vote, the right to...
Citizenship, right. They're citizens, and they have the right to vote. And they have the 13th, 14th, and the 15th. The 13th Amendment is freed slavery, and the 14th Amendment is citizenship.
Abolished slavery, gave us the right to vote and the right to citizenship.
That's right, and so
everybody deserves that.
Work around in there and talk about that. Some of the things that make us all alike, in spite of what religion or what situation we might find ourselves in.
So 13 slavery, 14 is vote.
Yeah, and the 14 citizenship.
Okay,
15
so slavery, citizen, vote.
Yeah, and put much information on the importance of voting too, because we're in a voting season and whatever, and et cetera.
Don't let Donald Trump.
Huh?
Yeah, okay.
You know, just that's what I'm, talk about, the basic constitutional rights that people have. The 13th Amendment black folks had because they were slaves. In the 14th Amendment, they became citizens, and the 15th Amendment allowed them the right to vote. And now, when we talk about voting, this is where it's needed. People like people in your situation. And thank you And welcome back to the final segment of the show for today. We're talking to Alana McLaughlin, and she's giving us some information in reference to anti-Islamic sentiment in the United States of America. Now, Alana, you've covered quite a bit of information during the first and second segment. Let's give you the opportunity during the final segment to deal with some of the other aspects of this anti-Islamic sentiment.
All right, and so if you're just tuning in the second segment, I talked about one personal experience that I saw anti-Semitism. Sentiment, oh my God, sentiment going on towards a man who was carrying a Quran. He had on a traditional dress from some country. I'm not quite sure because I haven't really taken any cultural classes. But he wasn't American. He was carrying a Quran, so I'm going to make an inference that the man was a Muslim. And so we were kind of okay, I was in Washington, D.C., so I was at John F. Kennedy Airport, and I was trying to go to Nashville. And so I was going through TSA, and he was behind me. And so I got all my stuff packed. I put it in the little cubbies. They put it through. I got my stuff back. It was over with. And I was waiting on the chaperones that I was with to accompany me onto the flight and all that. So I kind of sat down, and I was observing what else was going on at the airport. And I saw TSA kind of giving the man who was behind me a hard time. Like, for instance, what they would do, like, this is his Quran. They would open it and just, like, kind of manhandle it, trying to see if there was anything in there, and they were shaking it. Like, it was, and it didn't look in too great a condition, so it looked like it could have snapped like that. And it was just, they were giving him